But yeah, I just remember watching and thinking, wow, he's not very nice to his younger brother. But they also edit things, but I just never really got into Backstreet Boys because of Nick Carter. Something about him rubbed me up the wrong way. It's also interesting, he's an Aquarius. He dated Paris Hilton. He's also an Aquarius, and you know, I often am the Aquarius whisperer. And I can see his shadow side Aquarius a lot. So, with that being said, if you are Hi everyone, welcome back to Not Like Tara. My name is Holly. So grateful to have you all. Please excuse the mess in the back. I'm packing because I'm moving, so things are up in the air, but yeah. So let's get into the reading. So grateful to have you all. Try to do that sigh at the end of the year. I'm recording this 2 days before the end of the year, so releasing and leaving behind the past, moving forward. So I have decided to do this. Okay, so just a quick message to prospective members and members. We are going to be doing, or rather I'm going to be recording a members only, will not be seen by anybody else, once a week video. I was going to do it on this video I'm about to do now, but a lot of members were not that crazy about it, so I just decided to do it. I feel like it needs to get done because I've always had this weird feeling about Nick Carter, but I'll get into it. So for the members only this week, I'm going to be talking about Casey Anthony. I'm going to break down her energy. If you don't know Casey Anthony, she is the woman that is alleged to have murdered her child. It's very sad, but it's members only. Will never be seen by anybody else. So if you want to become a member, there are other lots of perks, $4.99 a month. Click the join button. Okay, now back to the video. I decided to do this even though it might not be monetized. I just feel like it needs to get done, and just put out into the energetic sphere. I want to do it on the allegations against Nick Carter. I've done videos. I did the one on Harmy Hammer. I was almost 100% accurate with that. Just some of it that I predicted, we don't know in the public eye, but I predicted exactly when he's going to go to rehab, so forth and so forth. And I want to predict what I see happening for Nick Carter here. So, just a little backstory. I've never met Nick Carter. I used to live in Hollywood. Well, I used to live near Hollywood, but I used to teach yoga in Hollywood and blah, blah, blah. And, excuse me, I still live in New York, where I met a lot of celebrities too. I've dated some celebrities, not a lot. And I've dated some celebrities too. So what I'm going to tell you is that one of the celebrities that I dated has some allegations out on him. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were true, because turns out, in my belief, in my opinion, he is a complete narcissist and sociopath. Can you be both at the same time? The other one I dated was very, very sweet, very kind. In fact, I wouldn't say celebrities, but I've dated people that have been on TV and so forth. I'm not saying I'm all that. I'm just saying that I've been in the limelight. Not the limelight, excuse me, but I've dated people who have been in the limelight and so forth. And I've just been around those circles. I will tell you that there's a lot of secrecy and a lot of hiding, because when I was in my first relationship with this guy who has allegations against him, it was very secret, and it was almost like he led a double life, so I could tell already that his management and so forth knew a lot of things about him that they were kind of keeping secret from me. And I came out to find out that I believed them to be true. But I only say that I feel like a lot of these people are protected because of who they are and how much money they generate. And I think that was the idea behind Me Too. I think Me Too, they got it all wrong. I think a lot of people came forward that got something to gain from situations. I think the Me Too movement did more harm than it did anything good. You know, as somebody who has been assaulted, had things happen to them, you know, saying believe all women completely took the movement down a negative route, because I don't believe we should believe a woman, because some women are the perpetrators of assault, you know. So when we only say one demographic, this happens only to one demographic, it is not true. And I think, like I have said before, we need to say believe, or rather not believe, but listen to that person. And instead of saying, because I've had many stalkers, I've had to file restraining orders against some people, and a lot of time when I speak up about it, for example, I had a stalker in 2019 who was actually used to be famous, which is very interesting. Let's figure that out now. One day I'll tell you my stalker story. But when I told people what happened, very few people had empathy or compassion about it. They were like, oh, well, it's because you're pretty. And I was like, so somebody can break into my house and declare their love for me because of how I look? So I think as a society, we don't want to delve deeper. We just want to have a quick answer for that person so we can move on with our lives, you know, which is not very helpful to us and not very helpful to the person going through it and the person who needs to be held accountable. So that's the reason why I want to do this, because I also have never liked Nick Carter. There's always been something about him that rubbed me up the wrong way, and I just felt uneasy about him. That's why I never really got into Backstreet Boys, because of him. And I know it sounds weird, but ever since I was a kid, I mean, I've always been intuitive, and I've been able to tell when something's off with someone, you know. And especially I used to watch, I mean, I don't really have that big of an opinion about his brother, rest in peace, Aaron Carter. I could just see that he was very troubled, and I could see that he came from a troubled home. And I always found it interesting that they came from the same home, and it seemed like Nick was bullying Aaron in a lot of the footage I saw from their reality show. I used to watch it when I was at the gym, like on the treadmill. It was on the gym, like they used to have MTV on, and I used to watch it there. But yeah, I just remember watching and thinking, wow, he's not very nice to his younger brother. But they also edit things. But I just never really got into Backstreet Boys because of Nick Carter. Something about him rubbed me up the wrong way. It's also interesting, he's an Aquarius. He dated Paris Hilton. He's also an Aquarius. And, you know, I often am the Aquarius whisperer. And I can see his shadow side Aquarius a lot. So, with that being said, if you are a Nick Carter fan, and you want to bomb my page, you want to bomb my channel, comment section with nasty comments, you will get blocked. Plain and simple. Just putting it out there. If you are a hardcore Nick Carter fan and you believe that he is completely innocent, this is not the video for you. Do not watch it. Do not comment. I don't want you here. Okay. For those of you who believe something deeper has happened and that he is being protected, I'm going to delve into that because my intuition tells me that, and I'm going to stick to my intuition. So I've pulled up cards from past, present, future. From the past, I get Justice, Ace of Cups, and Ace of Pentacles. So I see that there have been lawsuits. I just got the energy of Paris Hilton threatening to sue him, or attempting to. Now I saw that there have been lawsuits against him that kind of are shoved away or settled. And people, he's very good. This is the shadow side of Aquarius. If you look at Ellen, if you look at Oprah, I don't believe Oprah's a good person. I just don't. If you do, that's for you. But I just don't fundamentally think she's a good person. I think she plays the Aquarius game very well. And as an Aquarius, I used to be on my shadow side. Not a lot of the time, but I have gone, not to the dark end, but I've been very manipulative. Not anymore, but in my before awakening phase, whatever. I was very manipulative. Didn't really hold myself accountable. It wasn't getting me anywhere. That's why I decided to change. But people like Oprah and Ellen, they can be real bullies. Aquarius can be real bullies. And with that bullying, they can have people around them do their dirty work for them. Because the shadow side of Aquarius is kind of God complex, thinking that they're better than. If you look at Oprah interviewing people, you know, she's just being mean sometimes, pure mean to people. And the person she's interviewing will be like, will kind of be like startled because her audience laughs and people look at her as a god. Everybody just goes along with it because they kind of feel like they're in this realm of something's wrong with me, not what she has said or how she's made me feel. Does that make sense? So with the present, I get Knight of Wands, Three of Swords, Eight of Cups. I see very strongly here that some of these women, not all, some of them fell in love with him. And that's why they couldn't see who he really was. I strongly believe, I don't know if I believe the recent one that's come forward. I just don't, my energy is still up in the air about her. But Melissa Schumann, a very similar circumstance has happened to me. That happened to Melissa Schumann, who was the singer from Dream. I still love that group. Dream, right? It's almost identical to a situation I went through when I was younger. And the way she speaks about it, she speaks from her heart. I could be wrong, but my intuition tells me she's telling 100% the truth. And that's why I think she really fell in love with him. And that's why she went back and forth. And her story, like one day she would like him, the next day she wouldn't. Because, you know, when you're in love with somebody who's toxic, who does things to you, that has an abusive personality, you make up excuses for them, you know? And you're like, oh, they would never do this. And when you go through like a love-hate with them. And I see that very strongly here. I think she genuinely fell in love with him. So, with the future, I don't know why that showed up in the present. Maybe we're seeing that now. But the future, King of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, and 10 of Swords. I see here that there's going to be a payout, but there's a guy protecting him. There's a guy protecting him. And I know his wife gives me bad vibes. Bad vibes. When I look in her eyes, I'm like, bad vibes completely. Ugh. Like yucky vibes. But he's gonna move from Hollywood to like Arizona, something like that. And the Page of Swords, I strongly believe that against these people, Sloan and so forth, it's them sending these people. That's my opinion. That's my belief. It's Nick Carter and his wife sending bots to people like Sloan and so forth. So they send the bots so that there's nothing to be retraced. But it's coming, I believe, from them. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming from them. Wow. And the wife knows that he's like this. She's known he's like this, but he affords her a lifestyle. And this is what's so upsetting about people in general sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, is there any hope in humanity? That if somebody gives you... Sometimes people can be so selfish that if somebody affords them a lifestyle, they'll completely ignore what that person has done. And it's men and women, it's not just women. They'll completely ignore what that person has done so that it can benefit them. 5 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups in the world, you know. I see here, they've been through cheating issues, in my opinion. They've been through this. They've been through that. But she's like, you know what, 2 of Pentacles, 5 Swords. The money makes up for the headache. Literal. And he always comes back, Knight of Cups. I'm sorry. I think he cheats. I think he does these things with other women. And he comes back, I'm sorry. It's a very twisted and sick relationship. So yeah, that's what I have for you. I love you all. Please comment. Please be respectful, especially about this. I don't want to hear anything negative about Melissa or any woman that came forward with an allegation. You can speculate, but please don't say she's a gold digger, blah blah blah. I don't want to hear that. I'm blocking any comments like that. I love you all. Take care.